Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I want to share with you a rediscovery of the gachas and why they're OP now versus before. And it's really just something I stumbled upon, and I just could not believe how powerful gachas are now. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do to utilize this newfound ability with the gachas. So first things first, you do not need owl pellets for this to work. And I'm just going through and showing you some of the things I've gotten with gachas. I haven't even had these gachas a full day yet, a full 24 hours. Obviously a lot of red sap there because I'm looking to make Drake saddles. But there's a few things you're going to need, and I'm going to explain to you why you need those things now versus before. So firstly, you do need a magmasaur for this method. I mean, you don't necessarily need it, but without a magmasaur, it kind of defeats the purpose. So the magmasaur is the best metal collector in this game, period. Hands down. The worst magmasaur shits on the best Anki in this game when it comes to getting metal. And that's the way it's designed. It's designed to be the best metal getter in the game. Another great thing about the magmasaur is you can stand on its back and whip while you're getting metal. And you're like, what does this have to do with the gachas being OP? Well, one of the top foods that the gachas prefer is raw metal. So for almost every time they eat some raw metal, they're going to give you a crystal. For a lot of other foods, that's not the case. A lot of other foods, they have to eat the food several times before they give you a crystal because the food value is different. They give you a crystal after they meet a certain criteria of food eaten, and since the metal provides so much food in every bite for them, that's why they will give you crystals more often. Now, do not use cooked metal. Don't use wires. Don't use plant wire traps. Don't use any of the normal things that people tell you to use. Don't use stone. Just use raw metal. Trust me on this. I've tried everything, and the raw metal is really, really working well. I'm going to show you how much Ellie dust I get in 10 minutes off of one gacha that has no snow owl pellets, and it's just using raw metal. Actually, there's some other crap in there, so honestly, we probably would have got more. But this is just going to go to show how strong these gachas are now with just raw metal. And the reason that we can fill up so many gachas with raw metal is because the magmasaur gets so much metal. I mean, it black bags. You can black bag on Aberration or on Genesis very easily in less than 10 minutes right now because it's 2 times anywhere. 18 minutes on 1x. It's still super fast. Now, you might be saying, as of right now, this very moment, you cannot bring gachas to Genesis, which is true, but Genesis opens within 2 weeks, actually within 1 week of this video being filmed, so more than likely a lot of people will be watching this video after Genesis opens, which is May 15th, and so by that time, you'll be able to do this, and the reason that it works so well in Aberration and Genesis is because there are areas with really high concentrated metal. On Aberration, there's no flyers, so a lot of the metal areas are easy to access by land, so you just TP to the metal area, and then Genesis, you can just HLNA TP back to wherever you have a tech TP, which you should have on Genesis. It is the element map. Anyway, as you can see there, I got a little over 1,000 dust in 10 minutes. That's off of one gacha in 10 minutes. Obviously one element. Now, if you had snow owl pellets, that would be double because when they have snow owl pellets, they produce twice as much. I didn't want to show that because I'm on Aberration and you have to transfer them. But if you run, like I am, 5 gachas, that's 5 element in 10 minutes or 30 element per hour. But if you run male and female, like I'm running 5, so that would be 10 gachas total, male and female, 5 sets of gachas, that would be 60 element per hour. So you can see how this becomes very lucrative. And because it doesn't have to eat that much metal to produce a crystal, one black bag metal run on a magmasaur will last you hours and hours on even 10 gachas. And so that's why it's so strong. Here I'm going to show you a metal run from beginning to end on Aberration. The clip itself is only 9 minutes, and I go AFK for like 2 minutes in this clip to go on the other PlayStation to pick up gacha crystals so they don't despawn. So that's just to show you how strong these are. So, of course, all you have to do is whip the magmasaur. You whip it back to your TP. I recommend whipping it, try to get downhill or on flat ground. They don't whip uphill that great. You can still do it, but you kind of have to wiggle, go back and forth. But this, you can see there's like this, if you're familiar with Aberration, you know there should be more metal here. This has already been farmed, but I just wanted to show you how good these things are at getting metal and why this method works so well. And why it's not really a waste to feed these things raw metal, because you're going to have so much metal. You really, honestly, you won't know what to do with all the metal you're going to get with these Magmasaurs. That's just how good they are. Anyway, I'm going to keep this clip sped up. I'm going to show you exactly, what I'm doing to black bag it, and then we'll talk about a couple more things, and then you guys are going to be on your way to getting all this element or whatever resource you want. That's the nice thing about Magmasaurs. When you're on an Aberration, we know there are a few things that are tricky to get on Aberration. Oil and crystal are two big ones. Silica pearls are pretty difficult as well. We have gachas for all of those things. In addition, black pearls, they're very abundant in the red zone in certain areas. The problem is they're very dangerous to get. And honestly, if you have a black pearl gacha, if you run that for a few hours, you won't need black pearls for a hot minute. You'll get thousands and thousands of thousands. It's so OP. And then other things too, like if you need silk for whips, there's a gacha for that. And their gachas are easy to tame. You just need a mining drill and a tame, and you just go to a dead extinction and farm some stone or metal and just start popcorning them stacks of stone or metal, and you can tame any gacha pretty easily. Again, this is not a how-to video on gachas. This is why they're OP now. So just to recap, Magmasaur, because it gets twice the metal of an Anki. Obviously, Aberration is very rich when it comes to metal. All of the blue rocks in the bioluminescent zone are metal rocks, and pretty much every Aberration on official PvP that has people built there have TPs near the metal rocks. So you should be able to TP straight to the metal, whip it like this, and you're good. And the reason that they're really good on Genesis is because of the HLNA teleport. You can teleport anywhere in the map to a cardinal direction in an area. So for example, let's say in the bog, you have a teleporter at Bog East. You can teleport to Bog East and then whip your gacha to the teleporter to whip it to teleport back to base. Not your gacha, excuse me, your Magmasaur, but you guys know what I'm saying. Also, I wanted to show this clip to show that you can whip these gachas up tech bridge, one tech bridge wide, and that's kind of how we do it here, so it's kind of cool. Now, there's a few gachas, no pun intended, actually a little bit of pun, but there's a few gachas. So remember, with the gachas, you want them in pairs of male and female. Now, you do not want another pair within 12 foundations of another. So if that makes sense, you have to spread them out, otherwise they'll stop producing, they won't pick up. It's really frustrating. So definitely make sure that you have your gachas separated. That's one caveat. The next caveat is, or caveat, gacha, whatever. They, on Aberration, they will pick up the garbage that pops out of the ground during earthquakes. It shouldn't affect it too much, but just be aware of that. And especially when you're trying to popcorn them the raw metal for them to pick it up, if it's during an earthquake, you have to be careful that your raw metal doesn't despawn, because they may prioritize picking up the little trash from the earthquake. So that's just another thing to think about. Really excited to do this farm. Once I get all my males set up, I will be having, just from doing this, 60 element per hour, which is a lot to solo farm on an Aberration, when the only way to really get element is to run to drops and stuff, which gets kind of old. Another great reason that I personally love this is because when you're doing this method, you don't have to commit to anything in the game. The gacha crystals have a 15-minute spoil after they're dropped off the gacha. So if you run around every 10 minutes and pick up all your crystals, that's all you have to do. 6 times per hour, you run around and pick up your crystals, and you're good. I say 10 minutes because you don't want to push it too far. You don't want to throw away free element. But let's say that you have to do some things around the house. You're cleaning and you want to still be productive in Arc. Every 10 minutes, you set a timer, you do some dishes, you come over, pick up your crystals. You vacuum a little bit, come pick up your crystals, etc. If you're doing homework, the same thing. You do a little bit of homework, you do a few math problems, you come over and pick up your crystals on your gacha. Let's say you're working from home during COVID and you have a job that doesn't necessarily require your attention 100% of the time, or maybe you are doing like a customer service job or whatever. Every 10 minutes you pick up some crystals. So just a couple of ways to show you how good this is, because you're not always able to just drop everything you're doing in real life and go out and farm. And with this method, you invest the first 9 minutes in getting the medal, and then after that, you can just take your time. You're not committed to anything because you're in your base. Anyway, I hope this was super helpful. If you have questions about this method or just about gachas in general, ask below. Don't think I won't answer the questions. I answer every question that comes on my notification bar. I promise you that. Whether the video has 1,000 views or 50,000 views, I answer every single question. And if you look through some of my old videos, you'll see that. I will answer your question, I promise. So feel free to reach out. The gachas are a little tricky, and sometimes people still don't understand them. I have a really good grasp on how they work, so please let me help you out. And I do appreciate you guys watching. Stay safe out there with COVID. Like, subscribe, and until next time.